Hello, I'm Secretary of State Kris Warner, and I serve as the Chief Business Officer for the state of West Virginia. Part of my responsibility is to make sure that West Virginia is positioned to help create a strong pro-business environment to help grow our state's economy. To do that, my office is working to promote the services and programs available throughout the state to help support entrepreneurs and small business owners. This is part of a video series we call Just 3 Questions with West Virginia business leaders and entrepreneurs. Joining me today is Bill Woodrum. He's the Senior Program Officer for Community and Economic Development with the Claude Worthington Benedum Foundation. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
The Benedum Foundation started in 1944. It was funded by Michael and Sarah Benedum. Interesting to note is that Michael was listed as one of America's 100 wealthiest individuals in his lifetime. He amassed his fortune from the oil and natural gas industry, and the Benedum Foundation now serves southwestern Pennsylvania and all of West Virginia, an area very rich in natural gas. And so we're very glad that you're here for just 3 questions. And I'm going to get started by asking you to tell us a little bit more, if you will, about how the Benedum Foundation helps economic development, specifically in West Virginia.
You know, the foundation has long roots, as you said, 80 years in West Virginia, and through that whole time has had a focus on 3 areas, and that's education, health, and community and economic development. So really, in the last 20 years, we have put a particular emphasis on the economic development side of that picture, addressing everything from local food systems, which helps our farmers earn a better living, bringing food to the table and getting it out across the state, to technology-based economic development, entrepreneurship, lots of rural economic development in the Main Street style. Actually, over the last 20 years, where rural economic development and entrepreneurship have been a formal component of a strategic initiative for the foundation. The foundation's invested more than $41 million into those programs across the state of West Virginia and all 55 counties in West Virginia, and uniquely worked with 118 different agencies during that time to make those investments who have gone out and really helped in our local communities.
That is tremendous. I know we all appreciate that in West Virginia. How does the foundation help promote entrepreneurship, Bill?
Well, the foundation has had a formal entrepreneurship portfolio for more than 20 years now. And specifically, we really lift up those organizations that help our entrepreneurs. You know, as you know, being the Secretary of State, when you're that small entrepreneur, that aspiring small business owner, it's so hard to know where to go, where to get help, and we need those intermediary organizations. The Secretary of State's office does a wonderful job in getting business registered and ready to go. And then what we've been able to do is invest in a whole series of organizations that help lift up those entrepreneurs and help them be successful. Organizations that some now have 20, 25-year roots, like Tech Connect West Virginia, who works very specifically with technology initiatives. We have the Innova Commercialization Fund out of the West Virginia High Tech Foundation that works so much to take commercializable technology and get them into business. Of course, we work with groups like the Hive out of Southern West Virginia, who work, you know, with those small door-to-door mom and pop Main Street kind of businesses all over now, half of Southern West Virginia. So very engaged with standing up those organizations that provide the help, that help entrepreneurs succeed, and particularly get them past that opening 1 year where there's a lot of excitement and a lot of energy behind what they're doing, and then the reality of what they're doing sets in, and we start to lose those businesses in year 2 and year 3, and really standing up organizations that can support those entrepreneurs as they go through those hard times and get them on and into a lifetime of successful business.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Hive. They are, you know, if folks have not had a chance to visit the Hive in Raleigh County, that's something that they need to do, and it's a tremendous support system there.
Very special group there. The Benedum Foundation was some of the catalytic funding that allowed them to pull down some federal funding and start that program more than 10 years ago now.
All right, so how does the foundation help support the West Virginia Entrepreneurship Ecosystem? And how do they help entrepreneurs and small business owners?
Well, you know, the foundation, again, and you hear me say it a lot, and you hear but for Benedum a lot when you're in this job. You know, we wouldn't be where we were today but for Benedum's early investments. And it's true with the ecosystem. Back in 2019, as the groups were starting to pull together, and for the first time, 5 or 6 or 7 groups, then, you know, about 8 or 10 pulled together and started to talk about how do we work broadly together, how do we leverage each other's resources. Benedum was the first funding in that was received by the group at that time. My predecessor, Mary Hunt, put investments into a group that was just starting. You know, there were things starting at Marshall, there were things starting at WVU, and we were able to combine those into one statewide effort. Instead of having 2 ecosystems, we really wanted to lift up that one ecosystem. And with the early investments of the Benedum Foundation, we were able to start to advertise for the first time and make people aware of all the resources that are out there. We held our first statewide symposium, and that all came from Benedum funding. And then Benedum has stayed at the table ever since in supporting the ecosystem and helping sponsor Bridging Innovation Week, which is coming up the last week of April this year in Shepherdstown, but is now an annual week of events that has everything from pitch contests to the opportunity for entrepreneurs to come and meet ecosystem service partners from across the state, 300 and 400 people coming together for a week with just a fabulous, and the foundation is right there at the table to support those intermediaries who help build those businesses, and has been and will be at the table.
You know, Bill, when I heard that Mary was going to, you know, retire and move on to other things, I thought it's going to be really difficult to replace her, but I am so glad that you're with the Benedum Foundation now. You have been there through so many steps of working with all the entities that we've had an opportunity to talk about that support entrepreneurs and small business owners. So again, really glad that you're at the Benedum Foundation right now.
Thank you, Kris.
Thank you for watching, and we'll have you join us next time on Just 3 Questions. Thank you.